Hi, this is Kyle Schwarber, and welcome to the Phillies Show.
Hi, everybody. Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zalecki. It's the Phillies Show. It's Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Guys, how are we doing this morning?
Outstanding.
Doing great. A little tired.
A little tired, yeah. We're a little tired. The game was a longer-ish game. I mean, it was, I don't even know if it was 3 hours, but 7:05 starts when
7:05 starts. Don't like them. I'd rather have 6:30.
You think about
6 o'clock.
6:45 starts that the Phillies do weeknights. They're clutch. So Phillies, if you're listening, keep doing the 6:45 starts.
Well, they're going to change them here in Tampa here shortly because it's going to be too damn hot. So they're going to push them back to 7:30 later on this summer.
What difference is a half hour going to make?
I don't know, but it's going to be absolutely smoking here, man. Yeah. It was hot yesterday.
Yeah.
They're going to have some issues with the heat. There's no question about it. It's hot.
It is hot.
It's going to be so hot.
It's going to be like
100.
It's going to be like playing in Miami, an old pro player, right?
Or the Florida State League.
Correct.
I mean, you remember those games at Pro Player where every day batting practice would get rained out because of a thunderstorm rolling through, but then it was just thick and hot the entire.
Todd, they were the first team I ever saw take batting practice in T-shirts and gym trunks.
Is that right?
Yeah, because you always took batting practice with your game pants and maybe a practice top or.
That's right.
Excuse me, but. The Marlins, and it was weird because you never saw it in those days. It was like, and you'd go in there and, they'd be taking BP and gym trunks and white T-shirts because it would be just incredibly hot. And now a lot of teams do it, and that code has been relaxed. But
sure,
yeah.
Yeah, well,
most teams don't even take batting practice outdoors anymore.
I know.
Yeah, a lot of guys just do it inside.
That's a whole other. Then they don't hit. They never hit inside, and they probably should have hit inside back in the day. But everybody was outside every single day, and everybody took BP outside every day. And if you didn't, people would look at you like, "What are you doing?"
But yeah, now you like. When the Dodgers are Bryce and Trey Turner usually hit inside. Occasionally they'll hit outside.
Otani doesn't hit in outside ever.
Never hits outside. It was funny a couple weeks ago when they were in town. I was talking to a couple of our photographers at that work for MLB.com, and Otani never comes out in the field before the game. And so I was leaving, going up the tunnel. And I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And they said, not much." I said, Otani's out there. And they thought I was joking. They go, "Yeah, right." I go, "No, he's really out there. He had jogged out there to like play some long toss or something." And they're like, "Are you serious?" I go, "Yeah, he's out there right now." They take off. They took off running.
What's interesting about that? John Vukovic used to talk about that a lot. Like you needed to get outside to get your eyes adjusted, especially at day games. He always believed in guys going outside and hitting, even though it's sometimes optional during the day games, and not optional for me ever, but optional for the guys who actually played a lot. And it made a lot of sense to me that you get your eyes adjusted to seeing the baseball in that bright lights. Now it's different, or in the bright light sunlight, because you're so used to hitting at night with the lights on in the ballpark. But he always thought it was really important to get your eyes adjusted, especially for day games, to go outside because it's different. The sunlight and the light that you would get inside the cage is totally different.
Backdrop.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of different things and get your kind of juices flowing. So Vuki used to talk about a lot. Made some sense.
Yeah. I mean, they used to take infield, outfield. Vuk used to hit it.
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, they used to.
The Phillies beat the Rays on Tuesday night 8-4. Kyle Schwarber, Alec Bohm, Nick Castellanos all homered. My buddy, colleague at MLB.com, Paul Casella, tweeted this out last night. Phillies games with 3 or more homers as a team this season. Phillies, first 29 games, twice. Phillies, last 6 games, 3 times. So it seems like, they're finding the slug, as Rob Thompson likes to say. First inning on Tuesday night, Rays pitcher Drew Rasmussen threw 9 pitches, and then he threw 30 in the second, and then he threw 28 third, and he was out of there shortly after that. And then the Rays had to go to the bullpen. Zack Wheeler dominated in 7 innings, 8 strikeouts. Oh, 9 strikeouts, 8 on his four-seam fastball. 8 on his four-seam fastball. So, he was feeling it. He was feeling his fastball last night. He threw 50% four-seamers. It was the first time he had done that in a game since last September. His fastball average, four-seamer average, 95.9 miles an hour, up half a mile from a season average. He touched 95.5 in the 7th inning. I mean, another great effort by Zack Wheeler. Ruben, what did you like about that? You were up in the booth.
Yeah, super efficient. Nice adjustment. I mean, this is what the great ones do, right? His curveball and his split have been phenomenal, and he's getting a lot of swings and misses on those 2 particular pitches. As of late, I think they're up over 40% whip rate on those. And so they've been phenomenal pitches for him, but he didn't really have a feel for his split, and he didn't really have to use it. And they saw that he was firing that four-seamer up on, especially, on both righties and lefties. But, he said he hasn't faced a lot of, I think after the game, he said he hasn't been facing a ton of right-handers, so he hasn't been utilizing that sinker. So he hasn't gotten a feel for it. You don't use it, you sort of lose it. And so he didn't really have a feel for it. And he left the one sinker out over the plate on Yandy Diaz, who hit the home run that wouldn't have gone out of any other ballpark in baseball, probably. It's a right center. But, it was just classic Wheels making an adjustment, and JT making an adjustment and saying, hey, you know what? They're not hitting my fastball. I'm firing it. And he just kept firing it, and they swung over it or under it. And he's got one of those Justin Verlander, Kurt Schilling type fastballs that has that high finish, backspin it. Johnny Padres used to say, backspin that sucker, backspin it, get it off your fingers. And that's what he's got going, man. It's lethal. And it was a good one yesterday.
You could see him, hunting strikeouts at the top of the zone when he got in strikeout counts with that fastball. And it was right on the line, smidge over, right there. So he was locating that thing beautifully. But yeah, I love it I love that off the fingertips. And I'm wondering, it probably, the warm weather, probably a little humidity, you can get it really off the fingertips. Good night to pitch.
Yeah, he said it was
impressive.
Yeah, he said he could definitely let it fly. We will be right back.
For the card collectors out there, you got to check out Arena Club. I've got a showroom. AJ's got a showroom, and it's become a place where you can basically do everything digitally and physically in the hobby.
Absolutely. You can get cards. They'll grade them for you. They come in the plastic. If you want to physically get them so they don't show up like this card that's all bent that Scott, for some reason, decided instead they show up nice, like the exact same card. Look how perfect this one is. That's how Arena Club sends them to you. They'll even encase them for you so they don't get messed up in transit. So Arena Club's your one-stop shop for any baseball card, football card, any card needs that you might have.
And you should check out Slab Packs. You can rip a pack for hundreds of dollars or less and hit on a card that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. I'll take those odds. Right now, you can get 20% off your first Slab Pack or your first card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul. That's code FOUL once you get there. arenaclub.com/FOUL, code FOUL.
We are back. If you like the Phillies show, you can support the Phillies show by getting a Phillies show t-shirt. Jim and I are sporting them today.
I got the knockoff.
Ruben's got the knockoff one. Ruben's got the one that they sell outside of Citizens Bank Park, along with the soft pretzels.
That's great.
Ruben is biting the hand that feeds us. He's taking away our livelihood here. How dare you?
Sharpen cart.
What is the matter with you? Yeah, but Ruben likes to, he likes to keep it fresh. So he thought it was a cool design.
Gotta keep it fresh, man. Got to mix it up, baby.
Exactly. And we're going to have our third episode this week. We're going to take your questions. So if you're listening to us, watching us, if you're watching us, go into the comment section on YouTube, fire off some questions. If you're on X, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, when we post this episode, the Wednesday episode, if you want to have a Phillies question you want to ask us, or if you just want to ask us life advice, because frankly, who wouldn't want to ask our opinion on some life advice?
Especially Jim.
Especially Jim. Jim's got a lot of great ideas on a lot of different topics.
I have a lot of different thoughts.
I've never screwed up anything.
So drop that in the comment section, and we will do that. We're planning on that Thursday, so please do that. Last night, Alec Bohm, second inning, hits a 3-1. I think it was a 3-1 cutter just off the plate, goes the opposite way, and the ball goes over the fence. It was his first home run since, I believe, like September 20th.
20th, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, September 20th of last season. And we've talked a ton about Alec Bohm on this show over the first month plus of the season. And I looked this up last night because I was curious, because he's now had 2 multi-hit games in a row, and he's had a game with an extra base hit 2 games in a row. That's not a lot, of course. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I was like, I wonder what he's been doing the last couple weeks. Alec Bohm, in his last 14 games since April 19th, is batting .327, 3 doubles, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, and .832 OPS. In the last 3 games, he has raised his OPS 73 points, up to 586. It's got a long way to go. I'm not saying he's out of it. I'm not saying, it's going to be smooth sailing through the end of the season, but showing a little bit of a pulse. And he seemed to be pretty upbeat talking about it post-game on Tuesday night. Are you guys seeing any signs other than those numbers maybe? Do you think he's kind of emerging from the other end of this dark tunnel he was down, dark place he was in first few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, the contact is there. Now it's just about, getting the ball out in front, getting the ball in the air a little bit more. I'm not saying pop-ups. I'm saying, line drive and above, driving the ball. I'm going to stick with what I've been saying. I still think it's going to happen for the guy. I think he got in a rut, but I think the fact that he is starting to hit for some average is a sign that he's coming out of it. Now it's about, angle of the bat, pitch selection, confidence. And he'll start driving the ball like he needs to. I don't think he needs to hit 30 home runs, but glaringly absent is the doubles, or are the doubles. He's a guy, and doubles can be a power number too.
Right.
They help your slugging percentage. They drive in runs. So we need to see some more of those. But yeah, he does look like to me that he is emerging, and I think a lot of it is going to end up being confidence, because confidence is just magic when you got it.
I mean, in the early part of the season, yeah, he did it in some tough luck, and then after that, then he just sort of struggled with striking out and that sort of thing. I think it sort of snowballed on itself. I think Ryan Spader had some kind of ridiculous number about his expected OPS or expected, slug or something like that, and how he had the most 25 balls hit, the hardest in all of baseball, and had literally nothing to show for it.
Right.
And that also is part of the game. But you're right, Jim. I think he needs to try to make a little bit more contact out front. They're pounding him into the inside part of the plate. When he gets extended, he got that cutter away from Rasmussen, and it was like, ooh, thank goodness, because that's the ball that he can handle. And he hit it out of the ballpark in a place that where the ball carries. But that's a really good sign. The fact that he's picked it up pretty considerably. I mean, I thought we would see that happen. At some point, he's going to get closer and closer to the back of his baseball card, just because he's been doing it for so long. He's a good hitter, but he needs to do it a little bit more consistently, and he needs to have a little bit more thump. And like Jim said, I totally agree. It's not about hitting home runs. He should, by accident, because of his power and because of his leverage, should hit 20 home runs. But he doesn't have to try to hit them, because I do know that he gets out of sync when he does that. But it's a good sign. They need him in the lineup. They need him to stretch out that lineup. And the fact that he's hitting in the 8 hole or the 7 hole or wherever he is on a nightly basis, if they can start getting the kind of quality production out of him that they need, then that makes that lineup even longer.
And he said that after the game, you can't try to hit home runs, and he's right. You can't. Home runs happen.
Yeah,
Aaron Judge does not try to hit home runs.
right.
He's 6'7", and he makes otherworldly contact, and it goes. And he's got the angle of the swing, but you can't try to hit home runs. They happen when you make good contact, when your pitch selection is good, and you're driving the ball. So I'm not panicking on Alec Bohm. I think what we're seeing is he's kind of coming out of the woods here, and he needs to, because he's a crucial guy on this team.
Yeah,
Sure is.
well, and if Bohm can keep this up, it'll, you talk about don't panic, Jim, but some people are talking a lot about and noticing what Otto Kemp is doing in AAA Lehigh Valley. He was an International Player of the Week. He was the Phillies co-minor league hitter of the month, and he's had a fantastic season. We've had Luke Merton on this show. We've had Preston Mattingly on this show. I think both of those guys in the offseason mentioned Otto Kemp as a guy, kind of an under the radar guy that they really, really like. But people had been asking me, like, you think if Bohm continues to struggle, Otto Kemp could get called up? I was like, whoa. That's, in my opinion, that's a long way from happening. I don't think you don't just pull a plug on a guy that had a really bad April with his track record. Last night in the story that I wrote at MLB.com, I went back and looked at players that had really bad Aprils and kind of looked and see how they turned it around. You remember Nick Castellanos' April last year. He had a lower OPS last April than Alec Bohm did. He got it turned around. Chase Utley had a horrific April 2015, and then he got it going a little bit before, Ruben, you traded him to the Dodgers. Raul Ibanez in 2011, remember he had his April was horrific. He had a 466 OPS through the end of April. He finished the rest of the way. He had a 755 OPS. Going back even a little bit further, Ron Gant had a terrible April of 1999, 505 OPS. He went the rest of the way with an 838 OPS. So all four of those guys I mentioned, Castellanos, Utley, Ibanez, Gant, all have track records. Their managers stuck with them because they had track records, and they got it turned around. So, the whole, if Bohm struggles, for another week or two, is Otto Kemp in play. I just never saw that happening. Am I wrong?
Maybe not at third base, but I think if he continues to hit like that, an opportunity will present itself here. I mean, hats off to this kid. He is absolutely mashing. To me, the intriguing thing would be he's a right-handed bat. Maybe a left field platoon with Max Kepler might be really able to optimize the offensive output at that position. I just don't know. He hasn't played a ton of outfield. You don't want to take. You don't want to give away runs defensively if he can't play the position. He plays some third base as well. It might be his best position, but he is not a strong defensive player. So it's not even fine print. He's just not a strong defender. But my gosh, he just continues to rake. I mean, I know there's a difference in the pitching between the two levels, but the guy continues to hit. He's going to have to. He's going to earn a look in some way, shape, or form before this thing is over. Mark my words.
Yeah, he's almost gotten that legendary. He had that one game even where he got hit 4 times with a pitch. So he's kind of building up a legendary status down in AAA, and that's why I think people love talking about him.
I don't think that he's going to necessarily replace anybody unless somebody were to go down physically. I just don't think that he's going to push somebody out. Max Kepler's swinging the bat well. I like to see Max Kepler get more bats against left-handers, honestly. Just the way he's approaching his bats. I think he was over 3 yesterday, but he had like 5 quality at bats. I like the way he's going about it right now. He's a very good defender. You can't minimize that. You got to be able to catch the baseball, and that's important. And Otto Kemp's been doing it in AAA. I mean, I hit well in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a very good major league career.
But you still earned a shot at some point.
That doesn't, at some point he will get his opportunity, because if you have bat it will travel, especially
Sure.
now in today's game where nobody hits really, other than maybe Aaron Judge and Shohei Otani. I just feel like he's not going to necessarily push somebody off the field just because those guys who are playing right now have track records. And I think the whole Alec Bohm thing, it sort of started at the end of the year last year with the attitude stuff and the fact that he was benched and really struggled after he hurt his hand and all that stuff. There's a carryover with the fans about whether this guy can really perform well. Well, he's a pretty damn good hitter. He's always been a good hitter. He's always been a productive hitter, and he just needs to stay with it and keep doing his thing, because at the end of the day, I think things will get back to quote unquote normal for him.
It's funny. I was thinking about this over the years covering the Phillies. There's always, I shouldn't say always, but often been that one guy in AAA who has, a dynamite season, and people just kind of evaluate and kind of pick him apart and say, well, he can't do this, he can't do that, he can't do that. The guy keeps performing. Like, remember that guy Tyler Cloyd? He just kept winning in AAA. He ended up getting a shot here. Joe Roa, remember him? He kept winning in AAA. He ended up getting a shot here. Long before that, Ruben, do you remember a guy named Travis Chapman? Really good hitter. I think he was a Mississippi State kid. Really good hitter, minor league hitter. But
isn't Travis Chapman the first base coach for the New York Yankees?
I think that is the guy. Yeah,
that's Travis. That's Travis. He's first baseman, third baseman.
Yeah, he was a good hitter in the Phillies minor league system, and everybody's like, I don't know if he can hit major league pitching. At some point, you get a shot. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I have a lot of respect for what these guys do.
You got to
shine where you are, and they're shining.
Yeah, that's great. It's good stuff, man. I just feel like Weston Wilson is a guy that provides a lot more right now for this team than Otto Kemp does, because he can play all those positions. He's athletic. He can steal bases. He can run. He can do a lot of different things, and he's got some power. He can swing, and he put those numbers up in AAA too. I mean, he was a dominating force in AAA as well. So I just feel like right now for this team that Weston Wilson sort of provides more of what Rob Thompson needs for this team at this time. But you're right about that. Otto Kemp keeps playing and keeps swinging it. At some point, he's going to get an opportunity to be in Philadelphia or possible trade bait. Who knows?
Yeah, that's also true. Keep that in mind. Trey Turner had a couple more hits last night. He's batting .391, 3 doubles, 7 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, 880 OPS in his last 15 games. He's got 7 multi-hit games in his last 15 games. So he's also that's a good sign. He hasn't slugged, I guess, but man, you're getting on base at that clip. I think his on base percentage is like .450 in the last 15 games. That's okay. That'll work.
That'll be just fine. Yeah, that's his job, is to get on base and score runs, man. Produce runs. That's it. That's your job. Produce runs. If you do it by driving them in, great. If you do it by scoring, great.
Last night, like 2, 3, 4, 5 in the lineup, all just multi-hit. I mean, it was a really good sign. The iron of the order.
Big. One of the biggest moments of the game, I thought, yesterday. Again, he's not facing like the best pitcher in the planet at the end of the game, but Bryce Harper hit a bullet to left center field. That is a tremendous sign for the Phillies and for Bryce Harper, because when he's driving the ball the opposite way, means he's staying on it.
Yeah.
And he's getting ready to make a run here. So look out. My prediction, he's going to go deep tonight, and he's going to go deep again tomorrow night, and he's going to go on a tear for a while. I'm making a call.
Well, after these words, we're going to talk about another guy on a tear, and that is Kyle Schwarber. Stay tuned.
FT fam, we're excited to introduce you to Rowback with the subtle dog logo and 2 stripes on the back of every product. Kratz, what are you rocking for us?
I'm rocking the polo, which never feel like a t-shirt until now. Out on the course, I'm going to stay cool, and as much as I sweat, I won't be wet.
Use the code FOUL on rowback.com for a generous 20% off your first purchase. That's FOUL on RHOBACK.com. 20% off all shirts, hoodies, polos, and more with the code FOUL.
We're back. Kyle Schwarber, he hit his 12th home run of the season last night. One of 3 opposite field home runs. Schwarber did his in the second inning, gave the Phillies the lead. And he is now tied with Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh for the MLB lead in home runs. His last 7 games, he's batting .320, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs, OPS over 1,400. You know, right in the comments section, gotta sign that guy. Gotta sign that guy. Price keeps going up. Kyle Schwarber, he's making a good case for himself.
Oh, and he will. He keeps getting better with age, sort of. You know, I think that the fact that everybody's worried about sliding him out of the one hole and this, that, and the other. Well, he's made the adjustments.
He can hit.
He can hit. He hits. He hits, and he gets in streaks where he punches out because he's going to do that. Guess what? That's what power hitters do. They punch out sometimes. But the beauty of this guy is that he's really put himself in a position to make more consistent contact through the middle of the field. He can get hits. He can drive the ball the other way like he did last night. And he seems to be getting better, like, as he gets older. So it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, it's not about the money. It's about the length of the contract. Mm-hmm. Because what is he, with 31 right now? 30 or 31? Anyway, I think it's going to be about length. And
the length is, you know, somebody's going to want him. They're going to throw an extra year. It's going to go up and up.
It's going to escalate.
Yeah, it's going to
escalate. I mean, I can see it being a 4 or 5 year deal if he continues to do the things that he's doing right now. And you know, he has an OPS of 850 and hits 40 home runs and drives in, you know, 110 runs. The man's going to make his money, and he's going to get length.
It's going to be a 5-year deal. It might be a 6-year deal, and here's why. Ideally, you'd love to get him on like a 3-year deal. You're going to know you have to go to 4 to get him. Somebody's going to do something and go 5, and then somebody's going to do something crazy and go 6. So, you know, he's going to be a good power hitter right until his late 30s with that bat speed.
Mm-hmm. How many home runs in New York is he going to hit? In Yankee Stadium.
Oh my God!
Right. Now I don't know if he's a Yankee guy. He's played all over the place. Maybe
how many does he hit? How many does he hit in Cincinnati?
He would hit a lot there too.
If I'm the GM in Cincinnati, he's the guy I have my eye on. I almost like you guys told me years ago. This is a guy, I got a young team that's getting better, getting closer to ready to win. The guy is a winner. He's great between the lines. He's great in the clubhouse. He goes to the postseason every year in his career, and he would demolish my ballpark, and it's his hometown, and he would electrify my fan base. That is the team that needs him. That's the team I would keep an eye on. But I'd also keep an eye on the Phillies because I think they're going to re-sign one of those guys, either him or Real Muto. I'm not sure who. I think one of them comes back. You?
Yeah, and imagine him playing. I agree with that. I agree with everything you just said, Jimmy. And imagine him coupling up with Terry Francona. I mean, it's sort of a really good mix of people there. I'm not trying to sell him on it, but I'm just looking at the reality. I'd love for him to be a Philadelphia Philly for life.
Me too.
With the type of person he is, the player he is, the leader he is, all the above. It'd be great to have him in Philadelphia for a long time, but hey, man, there's a lot of different factors when guys are making these decisions.
Well, Philadelphia, the Phillies are in the driver's seat, but Cincinnati, if I was their GM, I would be like you and Ed way back when you were targeting Big Jim.
Big Jim. Yeah, no doubt. But he is 30. He just turned 32 about a month ago, I guess.
32.
32 in March. We've talked about this before, and Jim, you mentioned the bat speed. He hasn't. It's not like he's slowing down the bat speed. The bat speed is still like he's still swinging the bat and hard. And I just don't see that. I just don't see that dropping off like in the next 1, 2, or 3 years. So yeah, I would feel you're always. It's a risk to sign somebody who's 32 to a 5-6 year deal. But man, if you're going to take a bet on a hitter to continue hitting into his late 30s, I feel like Kyle Schwarber is about as good of a bet as you can make.
And the person, and the person and the accountability of the man. That
as well. Yes.
A great man. I mean, he is a boon to your organization all over the place. But I think somebody goes 5 or 6 and hopes to get 4 good ones. I really do. And it might be worth it if you do.
Yeah.
Because, he wins every year. He goes to the playoffs every year. You pack your seats, you make money. It's a good deal.
Guys, that was fun. If you like the Philly Show, you can get a Philly Show t-shirt at thephillyshow.com. We're going to answer your questions in our next episode. So go into the comment section, YouTube, X.
That t-shirt.
Yeah, that t-shirt. Not Ruben's bootleg t-shirt.
Not my bootleg t-shirt.
Yeah, he's selling that on the side. Again, he'll be
making a little piece on the side.
Yeah, exactly right. Yes, there we go. So we will be talking to you guys later.
Smell you later, boys.
Smell you, Jim.
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Subscribe to The Philly Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. If you like us, give us a review. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Threads. Find Ruben's analysis before, during, and after Phillies games on NBC Sports Philadelphia, on the Sports Radio 94 WIP Morning Show, and MLB Network. Find Jim at allphly.com. Find me at MLB.com, the Phillies Beat newsletter, and MLB Network.